Hello, hello. We're getting everything started. I hope everyone's doing well. What is today? Today is Tuesday. So, all good stuff. All good stuff. Let's start one more. Doing the final touches. Sorry, guys, as per usual. YouTube always goes up first, so the other parts take a little bit extra time. That's a good point, Aslan. 9 a.m. in Australia, October 1st. Okay, that's super early. Is it 9 a.m. in Australia? I thought Australia was almost like a full 24 hours ahead of us. If you're on Australia and you're telling me that's what time it is, I believe you. I'm just always confused. Yeah, no. It's like 13 hours. I know Japan's like 13 hours. Got a time traveler in here. Yeah. We love time travelers here. I don't know about anybody else. No, Joey. I would hope no one's life is treating them that way. All right. I'm doing well. I hope everybody else is. It is Tuesday, so we're getting stuff going. We're doing things. Hello in Seattle. Oh, I gotta move my other things out here. Let's see. You, and you, because I can do this. Oh, why didn't that do it on? Oh, it didn't do it like it did yesterday. That's a bummer. Oh well. It's working now. Pretty good. I hope everyone else's day was well. There's a Summer on the bed, but she's not in front of the camera. She's all the way on the edge. Just out of view for some reason. Normally, she's in view. Yes, 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 they are main gal. She certainly is. Drafting motions, prepping for depositions. Yeah. Hello, Austin. Yeah, I think it's a busy week for a lot of people. It's the end of the month. It's the start of a new month, starting tomorrow. All of the good jazz. There was a student walkout in Iowa? That's interesting. Hi, Danny. There's always such interesting happenings across everywhere. Are we wishing someone in particular a happy birthday? Happy birthday to whoever's birthday it is, if I missed it. I mean, if they try to run you off the road, that sounds like the responsible thing to do, is to be like, no, that's not good. No bueno stuff. Happy birthday, Eric. Thank you, Parkers. Yes, I see it now. Eric says, today is my birthday. Yay! Well, happy birthday, Eric. I appreciate that. I appreciate that. Gosh, I say weird things. Ninja, you're such an interesting character. Aw, that's so cute, Paul. Yeah, no. We good. Who watched the interestingness that was today in politics? I hope not, Aslan. I truly hope not. Honest to goodness, I don't want that to be the case, but we'll see how it all goes. It was definitely interesting to watch, listen to, and all of that interestingness. I meant to make a video about it, and I plan on doing it. Thank you for calling the MAGA support hotline. Are you there?
Yes, I'm there.
Awesome. How old are you?
30.
30? Okay. And are you still supporting Donald Trump?
I am.
Okay. And what has you questioning your support in Donald Trump or the MAGA movement today?
I think it's more than Trump. I think this is the first act of American populism and fascism. And I think that's needed to a degree. We have a country that we've lost ourselves. We've lost our way. You have a party, and I used to be a Democrat. You have the Democratic Party, who, honest to God, is sleeping at the wheel right now. There's no leadership. There's no motivation. They don't even have money in their savings. What is the play for 2026 for the Democrats to take the midterm? Can you tell me as yourself as a Democrat? You
I'm
can't.
not a Democrat.
Well, you're an independent.
Yeah, I'm non-affiliated because I think both parties are pieces of shit.
Oh, I agree. Both parties are garbage.
Yeah.
But don't you think that sooner or later something somewhere was going to happen like Trump? And don't get me wrong, it's both reasons. It's both sides of the aisle. It's not just the Democrat fault.
So I still haven't heard an answer to my question.
Which was your question?
Okay. What has you questioning your support in Trump or the MAGA movement today?
I think expanding I don't want to say NSA no, but expanding the spy state, I believe, is very bad. I think cutting up to Palantir is also extremely bad for the country. Look, I think we're an economic crisis away from full-on populism in America. Would you agree or disagree?
Sorry,
When you think about it, listen, from you have 9/11, you have 2008, you have Obama. Well, I don't think Obama really plays a big role, but you have 9/11 and 2008. Both of those.
Oh, I'm sorry. What year are we in?
Well, we're in 2025, but I'm telling you the reason why Trump is president.
No, I'm not asking. I'm sorry. Okay, let's try this again, and then I need you to tell me which words don't you understand in this question, because there's obviously something not connecting here, okay? What has you questioning your supports in the MAGA movement or Donald Trump?
Let me ask. Well, what's questioning me again is
No,
expanding.
not questioning you. What has you questioning them?
Yeah, I don't like that they're trying to expand Palantir. I don't like that they're trying to cozy up to foreign agents. That's not good. Spying on Americans is not good.
I'll try
I think
Hitler.
I think that's where this is bad for the Trump administration. I think that's what I personally don't like. That's what I would question them. Sure.
Cool. So what you disagree with the fact that Donald Trump is America first, but he's giving $20 billion to bail out Argentina?
Oh, I think bailing out Argentina is stupid. I
Okay.
think
Well,
bailing
at
out
least that. And then how
you
about
don't bail out a country while your country could face inflation, whiplash inflation from 2022 again, while you're setting up tariffs. That's just stupid. It's very stupid.
mm-hmm.
And I think, look, either, let me ask you this. Do you think Trumpism lives on past Trump himself?
Probably if individuals such as yourself can't really denounce him to any degree.
No. It's more than no. Do you think the idea of MAGA lives on once Trump is dead or gone?
Again, if people can't think for themselves, such as
I don't think
similarly enough to what you're demonstrating, then yes, it
no.
will.
What the hell are the Democrats offering to people? I'm a
And
Democrat.
I don't
I
fucking
voted for
know.
Biden in I voted for Biden in 2020. You think we're going to vote for Trump in
Giddy up.
2020? Nope. No.
Oh, okay.
You don't anoint Kamala Harris. You should have had a primary. I don't want to go into that, but
Who is
what are the
you?
Democrats?
God damn. I didn't know I was running a whole campaign. Like, damn, kudos to me. I guess I made it.
Hey, you're great. But what are the Democrats offering to the American public?
I don't know. I'm not a Democrat.
I mean, you're into politics.
Yeah, and I'm still not a Democrat.
That's
What?
from your perspective, you're an independent. What are the Democrats offering on the other side? And I think this is, and I'm not, to me personally, I think Democrats are just trying to protect corporations at this point. That's their main echelon.
I like how this like my whole topic is talking about MAGA and their like support. Like this is for their support. But people, including you, seem to want to be like, but the Democrats, and want to go over to that.
Hey, look, Republicans aren't any better. You're going to blow the deficit. You're probably going to let Ukraine
What
slip
state did you
away.
vote in?
What state did I vote in?
Yeah.
Voted in Michigan.
You're awesome.
Sure. Thanks, Frank, for the 2. I'm not putting that on the screen, but thank you for the $2. That can stay in the chat, but don't. I'm not putting that on the screen. But thanks, chat, for the $2 donation. Anyways, we'll take another caller that actually is able to have a semblance of a conversation. Yeah, I mean, yeah, he kind of did. I have his transcript. Thank you for calling the MAGA support hotline. Are you there?
Yeah, I'm here.
Awesome. How old are you?
I am 34.
You're 34? Okay. And are you still supporting Donald Trump?
No.
No? All right, man. Well, I hope you have a great day. Thank you for calling the MAGA support hotline. Are you there?
I'm here.
Awesome. How old are you?
37.
37. And are you still supporting Donald Trump?
Yes, I do support Donald Trump.
Okay. And what has you questioning your support in Donald Trump or the MAGA movement today?
What has me questioning my support?
Yeah.
Whether or not he's going to continue to enforce his stances on illegal immigration, mainly issues like that, illegal immigration, bringing jobs back to the United States. I don't believe that he's gonna continue to follow through.
So not following through. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Do you believe that Donald Trump is actively lying to the American people in his current administration?
Well, his first administration, he was really soft on all these things. So I'm really worried that he's gonna capitulate to the soft, liberal Republicans and kind of follow that path again. I don't trust Donald Trump. I didn't like him in his first presidency.
Okay.
But you have to vote for him because the alternative is a bunch of crazy secular progressives.
Is this thing on?
It's a really difficult situation.
Okay. So let's. So you admit that Donald Trump is lying?
Oh yeah, he's lied. He's a politician. Find me a politician who doesn't lie. That's kind of silly. Of course, they're all liars, aren't they? Is there an
Okay.
honest one?
So I always wonder, and I keep trying to get somebody to give me the correct answer to this, or what the actual answer is, the logical answer to this is. So when somebody asks you about someone else lying, like in naming a particular person and saying that they're lying, what do you get out of saying, well, every politician lies?
It puts things in context.
It puts
So,
things in
you're not
context. What
looking at,
context?
you're not looking at this person as somebody who's doing something out of the ordinary. Oh, he's a liar. How can you support a liar? And he's lied. And it's such a stupid thing to say. They're all
So
lying. They're all liars. So
so
why
it's
are you
you're
why are
excusing
you
it.
exaggerating about a fact?
So you're excusing it.
Like, no, it's not good to lie. But you're
Okay, so then
choosing,
how is it taking
you
it
have
out
a
of
choice between,
context? And then how is it saying that when I'm asking you about one particular person and their lies, how is it
yeah,
taking that out of context and then basically saying that you're telling me that I'm kind of making it like it's out of the ordinary, when
not you're
correct it
making it. That's
is.
just why I'm replying like that. I'm not saying you're making it out of the
Uh,
ordinary. You asked me why I replied, as far as like comparing him to other people. And I said, I just provided context because it shows that it's not something that's like out of the ordinary. It's not like, oh, how did you support a liar?
You're
It's more
awesome.
like, oh, well, of course, we all have to support liars. So it puts things in context.
yeah, okay. It
Do you disagree with that?
Yeah, I do. So usually when people say
Who
this,
aren't,
and
who,
this includes
yeah,
you in this case, what it
okay.
is that you're basically saying it's okay that Donald Trump lies because everybody else lies too, and that's ordinary, right?
But I just told you that it seems like you're assuming my intentions when I just got done explaining my
Mm-hmm.
intentions for why I provided context. So do you not believe me?
That was a bunch of words, and not one part of that made a logical sentence.
Do you want me to try it again?
Sure.
Okay. I just got done explaining why I put it into context, and none of that had to do with excusing liars. It had to do with providing context, which shows that all we have to choose from are a bunch of liars. So it's not excusing liars. I'm not okay with lying. But when you have a choice between 5 liars and
Uh-huh.
you pick a liar or you support a liar, it kind of puts things into context. So if you can show me the non-liar, I would be happy to try to vote for them, but they don't exist. So when you're
Okay.
surprised
So
that
yeah,
I might
it is
support a
that
liar,
you okay,
that
so I
provides
just want to be
context.
clear. So it is you
Yeah.
giving an excuse to the fact that he is in fact lying because he was the choice out of
Oh my
5
God.
liars.
Oh my God. I just got done telling you that it's not okay to lie and there's no excuse.
But you
Your
aren't giving it an
your response
excuse.
was to why I was supporting a liar, and I gave you context to why I was supporting a liar because all the choices were liars. I'm so confused right now. How are you not understanding this?
Yeah, okay, so let's
Lying's not
you just
okay,
voted for the
but
biggest
they're all
liar. Got it.
liars.
Okay, so
They're all
everyone
liars.
lies. You voted for the
Who's not
biggest
the liar?
liar. Okay,
Who's
cool.
not the liar?
That wasn't even the question.
Who's
This
not the
is
liar?
extremely difficult for you. Okay. So let's
Who's
try
not the
this
liar?
then. Here, we'll
Who's
try
not
this.
who's not the
We'll
liar?
try this. Tell me 3 lies
Who
that
wasn't the
Donald Trump
liar?
has told since he was inaugurated into office in
Who
2025.
who's the honest politician? I'm really confused right
Do I
now.
need to repeat the sentence?
I was just asking the question about who the honest politician is because
Okay,
I'm
so
explaining that
again,
they're all liars
let's
and you
try
seem
this
to
again.
disagree with that. Do you disagree with that? Why are you so argumentative,
Goodness.
ma'am?
How am I
We can just have a
argumentative?
back
My
and
tone's
forth.
the same. The only person
Your
that's
tone has
raised his
nothing to do with having
voice has been
raising the voice
you.
doesn't have anything to do with being argumentative,
The
ma'am.
only person who
I-
sounds warmed up
You're
by
so
all of this
combative.
is you.
I'm not being combative. I'm just trying to explain
Oh,
myself, and
okay.
you
So can
seem
you
to
tell
like
me
refuse to
3
want to
lies
understand.
that Donald Trump has told since he was inaugurated into office in 2025? Thanks for the
3
level
lies
up,
that he's
Amanda.
told.
Since he was inaugurated into office in 2025. Thank you, Moose.
Oh, in 2025.
Yeah.
Lies in 2025.
Uh-huh.
Um, um,
Just since
well,
he
I
was
think he
inaugurated.
promised to go after like the Epstein situation. I think that was something that
No,
they
he
had.
didn't.
He didn't promise that he was going to go again. Okay.
No.
Yeah, I'm not sure. I'm not sure about lies in 2025. I didn't trust him because of the lies from 20.
Gotcha. Okay.
I didn't believe him because of the lies from the first administration. You asked me why I was skeptical, and I said because I feel like he would be dishonest as he did. This administration is actually doing a great job. I just don't believe that he's going to. I think he's got too many outside influences, too many lobbyists that
So
are going to
much.
pull him back into like pro-immigration stances.
Yep.
Yeah, stuff like that.
Yeah, they're
So I feel
definitely
like that's
gonna
what your
pull him that
question was
way.
originally.
Oh, you
It
felt
was
like
about
that
like
was
why
my
I didn't
question
trust him.
was?
Well, that was your question.
No, I said what had you questioning your support, and then you went into
Yeah.
this weird little, I don't know, and then when
Oh
I
my
asked you
gosh,
another
ma'am. I didn't go into
question.
a weird anything. I answered the
Oh,
question very directly. I said I don't trust that he's not going to fall back into his previous habits from the first administration.
very
I've been very honest
interesting.
and very straightforward. You seem very
Okay.
rude and very combative, ma'am.
I'm very interesting. Okay, I'm rude and very combative, and I'm just literally asking questions. But
But I
that's so
answered you,
interesting.
and you
So
don't
let's try
understand
this. And
any of my
you're not
answers.
able to, yeah, and what I hear
Intentionally or
is that,
unintentionally, I don't know.
oh goodness. What I hear
Are
is
you
that,
stupid
oh
or are
my
you just
goodness.
argumentative?
Oh my. All right, let's try this. So what you said originally is that you were thinking that Donald Trump isn't going to follow through and not going to continue to enforce his original stance on immigration, yada yada yada. And then when I asked you specifically, okay, and you've acknowledged that Donald Trump is in fact a liar, to tell me 3 lies that he's told just in the last 8 months, you said that you can't think of any, which I find very troubling.
Okay,
Do
you
you
can find that
think
troubling.
do you think that there's such a thing as stage 9 cancer?
I'm not sure about any cancer. You can tell me
You're
though if you'd like.
you're not sure. Oh,
Yeah, I'm not
interesting.
sure. Your
So Donald
condescension doesn't help
Trump,
the situation.
oh, okay. Donald Trump
You
didn't
have
go
like
out
a
on,
condescending, like
oh,
mean girls approach to your conversation, and I usually try to have conversations like mature adults. You can just tell me what your question is. I can tell you the reply. We can go down logical chains of inference and figure out,
uh-huh.
who's closer to the truth, who's not, and share our opinions. But every time I give you an answer, your little condescending tone, I don't understand how
I'm
that contributes to a
condescending.
back and forth conversation.
Condescension? Okay.
Your
So
condescending tone, condescending.
Don,
Again, I say something and all you have back is like these snarky replies and a weird mean girl attitude, and I don't understand how that's helping your argument or your
okay.
positions.
Well,
I don't even know
maybe,
what your arguments or positions are. You just have like a weird attitude towards any of my replies.
maybe
I don't
because
know any lies, ma'am. In the last 3 months, I don't know any lies. If you would like to tell me, or you want to like try to point out some sort of hypocrisy that I have, you can go ahead and do so. But your back and forth and your attitude is just
in my
weird. There's no
attitude.
points. There's no
Can you tell
arguments.
me when I'm
There's no
supposed to
positions.
engage in a back and forth when every time I open my mouth to actually answer your question and provide you with 3 lies? You have in fact
And
interrupted me, and
I
during
told
that
you I
time
don't know.
while you're interrupting me, that's when I'm going, "Oh, okay," because you've interrupted my sentence.
Just get to
And
the
so then
point,
that
ma'am.
was the
Just what's your
point that
point?
oh
What's your
goodness,
point?
and see you're
What's
doing
your
it
point?
again, but I'm
Yeah, you want to
apparently
tone
the mean
police
girl
and you want to have
one.
meta conversations.
Ooh.
Let's have actual
Goodness,
conversations about
I
actual
mean, I
points. I don't
was.
know any lies.
I
What
mean,
next?
I
I
was.
don't know lies.
Oh,
What's next?
goodness.
Okay,
Okay.
what's next? I don't know lies. What's next?
Oh, okay. Well,
You're
we need to
awesome.
test something here? I feel like see, now this part is gonna
What
be
is
the
your point,
condescending
ma'am?
part.
What's your point?
Let's
I don't know
see.
lies.
We're gonna, yeah, no, I'm going, I was actually asking you one when you originally interrupted me, and I'm going to go ahead and like run through that with you again. But we're just gonna test something out. Okay, so I'm gonna start. Okay, I'm gonna start, okay? All right. So Donald Trump told a lie and said that Donald Trump had stage 9 cancer. I have news for you. Stage 9 cancer is not a thing. We only have stage 4. Also, Donald
Okay.
Trump lied. Oh, you already failed. Okay, that took 13 seconds.
I said
All right, and
okay.
then Donald Trump also like has lied about who pays the tariff cost to the United States government when we impose it on other countries. Donald Trump has also lied about ending 7 wars.
Okay, what's your point? I already said that I know that he lies. They all lie. What's your point? Am I supposed to run away from him because he's a big fat liar?
These are just 3 lies that he's told in 7 months, and you couldn't think of a single
So
one, and I
what?
find that very
So what?
interesting.
You're
So
awesome.
what?
Oh, goodness.
So what? What's your point? He's a big fat meanie?
No, can
What
you?
policies don't you
Oh,
like?
goodness.
How is this going to affect our country? Like,
Oh,
yeah, he's a big
goodness.
fat meanie and he lies and yeah,
Did
he's a
I
big
say
fat
that?
fascist and this and that.
Did I miss where I've
That's
said
your
any
whole
of that?
attitude.
Oh, that's my attitude. Interesting. Very
What's your
interesting.
point then? Then tell me your
Oh,
point.
okay. Yeah,
What's your point?
so I don't know. Are you gonna let me talk again?
I
Do I
already know
need to
he's a
reset
liar.
my?
What's
Okay.
your point?
All right. Okay, we're gonna try to go through this again, and I would like it. You did
Help
ask
me.
me a question, so I'm gonna go ahead and try to answer it here. Let's see how well this
Okay.
lasts. Okay, so he asked
Okay.
me about like what policies of Donald Trump that I don't support. I don't support stripping away health care from millions of American citizens in our country with the HR1, aka the Big Beautiful Bill, because I've actually read the majority of it, and I'm sure you haven't. I will say I do support the no tax on tips because that directly benefits me in everything that I do on my lives. I get to write all of that off as a tip because I don't make nearly what that cap is at. So, this is pretty easy to do. So that's a great thing. And I think that a lot of Donald Trump's lies that he tells are directly harmful to the American people, especially when we're talking about who pays for tariffs, because individuals that follow the MAGA movement and follow Donald Trump are very clear on believing him when he says that it's the foreign government that pays the tariffs to the United States government that's placed on those other countries. And so when that happens, and the truth actually is that it's the American company that pays that 15, 20, 25, 30, 35% tariff to the American government, that is harmful to the United States citizen and the United States populace because they're believing it and they're not understanding that it does fall back on the American people. I hope that helped.
What do you think you were helping me with?
Oh, so got you. You just don't think that anything that Donald Trump says his lies are harmful? Is that what it is?
Not any more harmful than any other politicians in their positions that I might not agree with. So
Can you name me a
I prioritize
oh,
other positions and other um uh policies that
uh-huh.
I just think are more important than your problems with tariffs and
Oh, but it's more than,
like
quote, my
immigration, for
problem.
instance.
I wasn't talking about immigration. I'm talking to the
I know
direct
you weren't.
harm that
I
Donald
didn't say
Trump
you
is
were.
causing to the American people and them losing their health care, right? And I think that that's
Yeah.
more important than talking about your views on immigration. And obviously, I would guess some modicum of xenophobia that you have inside there since you're just so hung up on immigration. I believe in the benefit of the American people as a whole, and I do mean like, the American people, the citizens, the population of the United States, right? And it's quite obvious that if you just don't care about United States citizens losing out on healthcare benefits, then yeah, that does prove a lot, sir. That it's you and what you want and everything that you care about, and you obviously don't care about the United States as a whole, and it's just you.
Is it possible that I might have a different approach in prioritizing in order to get good results? Is it possible I just might have a
Oh,
different opinion and a different approach from you rather
okay.
than this characterizing me as like xenophobic and like not loving America? Do you think it's possible
Oh, I
that I
didn't
just
say
have like
that.
a different worldview? Do you think it's possible that I might just have a different
Sure,
worldview
have
that
your
I
own
think that
worldview.
I'll get even better results than you, taking a different
Oh,
approach with prioritizing
and
different positions, or am I just a xenophobic meanie pants?
well, I like how words keep getting put in my mouth and within my sentences
You
and
said
everything like
xenophobic.
that. And
Did you not use the term xenophobic?
I said that seems xenophobic. I did say xenophobic. That is correct.
Yeah, you
But I
did.
also
That is
just
correct.
never insulted you in any way. But you're like, oh, she called me a meanie pants
Claiming
that
I
I
might be
never said.
xenophobic isn't
Big
insulting.
Zeus. No, I said you might have
Claiming, yeah,
xenophobic worldviews,
yeah.
and that's
Oh,
just a true statement. Oh,
is it
goodness.
possible I just think prioritizing immigration is a better approach than leaving
Then
borders more
prioritizing our
open?
American citizens? Yeah, I think that that's an
That's what
issue.
that's doing.
No, it's not. Actually making sure that our United States citizens have health insurance, our children have health insurance, our children are being fed with SNAP benefits, the CHIP programs. I think that is definitely more important and more protecting our United States citizens than the border, which let's just also give a reminder, guys, that Donald Trump also promised the American people he wasn't going to touch Medicaid and Medicare, and yet it's specifically within the one big beautiful bill that he did strip away Medicaid and Medicare benefits from millions of American citizens and SNAP EBT. So
Is
children will go hungry.
is
So how is that
is there
American
any?
first when children are going to go hungry in our country?
I've been letting you talk a lot. I'm ready to answer. Do
Sir,
you
I'm
think
pretty
that
sure that throughout all of this has been a long 19 minutes. You have said a lot of things, way more than I have,
still
and you've
going?
barely allowed me to talk much. And I just want to remind everybody, I do charge
Ready to
10
answer?
minutes for every 5 minutes of therapy. So at this point, guest owes me
Ready to
40
answer?
bucks. If anybody wants to help
Ready?
contribute to his
Ready to
therapy
answer?
fund, I think he would appreciate that, guys.
Oh, I need therapy.
You've been doing a lot
I'm
of whining
xenophobic.
on this
I'm
live.
xenophobic. I'm just clarifying. I'm xenophobic and I need
Oh,
therapy.
I think everybody can benefit from therapy, actually. Everybody can
Uh,
benefit from therapy. And I'm not
I
saying that
don't
you don't.
agree.
I'm saying
I
I'm
don't agree
providing
with
you
you, ma'am.
therapy right now.
Ma'am, I don't agree with you. I could be a good person for
Oh,
all you know, a nice person who
oh,
contributes to my
okay.
community, who might have kids and
Never said you
children,
wouldn't. We can hear
and
your kid
you
in the background.
want to accuse somebody you don't know personally of
Uh-huh.
being xenophobic and needing
Yeah.
therapy. You're a sweet, sweet person.
Hey guys on TikTok, hit that follow button up at the top and also get to tapping the
And this is
screen.
why
We should
people are
already
turned off
been
with the
way
left, man.
over
This is why
50,000.
people are turned off with individuals like you.
Oh, okay. I mean, I
because
don't need you
it's
to be and feel any type of way towards me.
I'm just proving a point. I don't think you need to feel or
I
think
don't
anything that
think
I
you're
feel or think.
proving anything.
I'm just letting you know your approach and attitude towards this conversation is
Oh,
a
my
core
attitude?
example of why people are getting turned off from
I always
the left.
forget that
Because
stoicism apparently is meaning condescension instead of just a lack of
sticking to the
emotion.
arguments, instead of just sticking to the arguments and the positions,
You have been
you're
the
having
one
to throw
committing
in
that
these
fallacy the whole
insults
time.
and you have to throw in these insults and little jabs
You're the
and
one that's been insulting the
condescension,
whole
and it doesn't help your position or argument. I didn't insult you at all, man. I just
No,
told you that
are you sure?
I
Oh,
prioritize legal immigration,
you've put a lot of words
and
in
I
my
think that
mouth, and
that's
then you
and
basically
I
said
think
I
that's
was
a better
insulting you, and I wasn't
and I
insulting
think
you.
that's a better and I think that's a better way of helping the American people. And I think
Yeah,
that there's other ways to help American families feed their children other than just SNAP benefits.
that's
I
good
think there's a lot of
points,
other
G.
strategies. I think there's a lot of other strategies and positions that might be able to accomplish the same thing in a better way. So we're going for the same aim, helping American children. And I might just not agree that your approach is the one that I think will work best. So instead of insult the people that don't agree with you, call them xenophobic, call them fascist, hope that they get shot in
Literally
the
never
head
said
and
that.
shot in the
Never
neck,
said that either.
you should
Jesus.
probably
We're cutting that out because I didn't say any of that, and we're not having that one. Like, whoa, whoa. See, this is what I said about like you putting words in my mouth to such a large degree. Yeah, I didn't say that at all. That got weird. Yes, Hector, and just give me 1 second here. I will mute TikTok. You give the PSA to here. I will talk to the other ones.
Okay.
All right, guys, over on the YouTube and over on Twitch, guys, just remember to hit that subscribe button, hit that follow button, whichever one it is for the apps that you're on. We do have a goal of 5 members a day on YouTube. We haven't hit that in a while, so if we could get 5 new members today, I would really appreciate that. It is the cheapest way to support me on the live streams that I do. And I go live 6 days a week for about 2 hours a day, right? So I appreciate you guys doing that. You guys can also watch me over on Twitch. We're live on Twitch with 6 viewers in there. Hey, Twitch is small, right? So like, thanks. So like go over, find me on Twitch, hit that follow button. It's the same as it is over on YouTube. You can subscribe over on Twitch. If you have Twitch, you can subscribe for free for 1 month if you have Amazon Prime. So like guys, feel free, support. It's the easiest way to do it. Like subscribing is the cheapest, longest long-term way to become that way. And thank you, Feisty, so much for sending out 5 gifted members. There we go. Okay. Thank you, Feisty. And if you received a membership from Feisty, be sure to thank her in the comments, even if you're on the other side. Yeah, and the next goal is 75,000 likes over on. Oh, I'm not. Am I unmuted? Okay, I already moved my thing back down. Okay, so the next goal on TikTok is 75,000 likes. The idea is to get 25,000 likes every 15 minutes. There's 540 people in TikTok. That should be 100% doable. All right, Hector. Guys, if you haven't already followed Hector, shoot him a follow. Go comment on the other chats too and do the same thing.
I just screamed. So as soon as I gave the PSA, I'm so sorry. It went from 39.8 to 39.9. Keep fucking hitting that follow button, guys. We're right there. We're right at 40K. All right, sorry, go ahead.
You're good. Hit that follow button over here. Hit that follow button over on my backup account down here. Where are you at, Hector? Nice. Okay. And then, yeah, guys, say bye to Hector. He'll comment in the chat.
Bye.
Love my friends. Okay, we're going to open up these phone lines, but let me get through some of these chats real quick. Knock, knock, who's there? Banana, knock, knock, who's there? Trump, aren't you glad I didn't say banana? That good one. Blacktivist. I love you so much, man. Thank you, go on, for the $2. We have Anonymous, thank you for the 10 jewels. Feisty paid for half of that last guest therapy with $20. Thank you for the Sunday for 100. Again, Feisty sent out 5 memberships. Appreciate you. And thank you, Hugo, for the 30 jewels as well. We're going to turn on these phone lines again. Oh, thank you, Joe, again for the gem gun once more. I appreciate that so much. Thank you for calling the MAGA support hotline. Are you there?
Hello?
Hi, how old are you?
Hello?
Thank you for calling the MAGA support hotline. Are you there?
Yes, I am.
Awesome. How old are you?
19.
Okay. And are you still supporting Donald Trump?
With regards to policy, yes. With regards to words and attitudes, no.
Okay. All right. And what has you questioning your support in Donald Trump and the MAGA movement today?
Again, like I said, probably policies, not much. With words, probably a lot.
Oh, okay. So when it comes to Donald Trump, can you admit, and this includes with about his policies, can you admit that Donald Trump is actively lying to the American people in his current administration?
Well, again, yeah, that has a little bit more to do, I would say, with how he talks. But yeah, of course.
No, it also has to do with his policies.
You're awesome.
Well, in one way, I disagree with that. But how would you say?
How would I say? Okay. So when we're talking about his policies, he came out and he even wrote an executive order promising that he wasn't going to do anything to cut Social Security, Medicaid, or Medicare benefits for the American people. And funny enough, when he signed HR 1, aka the Big Beautiful Bill, it is going to end up, once it goes into effect after October 1st, 2026, that about 10 to 17 million individuals in this country are going to lose access to their health insurance.
Well, I think we can all agree that any president is self-serving. They kind of want whatever is going to make them look best. So in that case, if that actually does happen, there's negative impacts, like a bunch of people losing their health care coverage. I guarantee you he's going to reassess. So what you're doing is you're theorizing what could happen. I'm not sure that will happen. I would like to more stick to the now.
Have you
and
read
see what
HR
effects
1?
have actually kicked in. Have I what?
Have you read HR 1?
I'm going to be completely honest. It's a very long document, obviously, so I've read parts, but not the entire thing.
Okay. Where did you
But
stop out of the
could you not-
330 pages?
Yeah, again, like I said, a very long document. But again,
330
would you not
pages is smaller than most books.
330 pages?
Is smaller than most paperback books.
Yes, I realize that, but I have other stuff to do than to read every single bill that passes through Congress. Did you read the entire Lake and Riley Act? I doubt it.
You're awesome.
No, it was a redundant act with the same laws
I'm
that
not
we
sure
already
that's
had in
true.
place.
I'm not sure
There's
that's true
actually already a
because
law on the books from 1978 that says that if an immigrant is convicted of a
You're
crime after
awesome.
they serve their sentence, they get deported, which is exactly what the Lake and Riley Act reaffirmed, a law that is already in existence.
yeah, it needed to reaffirm it because there were a bunch of
It
people under
needed
the
to
previous
reaffirm it.
administration.
Can you, well, I'm sorry. Did the law from 1978 just magically expire or something?
I never said it did, but
Then why
under
would you need to
Biden,
reaffirm it?
there were quite a few people who, unfortunately, were released after serving their sentence as an illegal immigrant. That's the whole reason why it needed
That's
to be
because
amended.
there's also no federal law, and even Lake and Riley Act didn't affirm this in federal law, that requires states to report or even research the documentation status of an individual that's been convicted of a crime, because per Arizona v. United States 2012 Supreme Court ruling, it is in fact solely the job of the federal government to enforce our immigration laws. So with that being the case, they literally reaffirmed within that SCOTUS ruling that states and individuals within that state, their police force, cannot actually ask people about their documentation status. Isn't that interesting? Do you see how,
Well,
again,
it's
that's a very useless law?
again, that's a law that we've seen evidence that, you know, it happened under Biden. People were
Evidence?
arrested and then released. But I just had a different
No,
question.
I don't. Arrested is different from a conviction and serving time.
Okay, still, either one.
Again,
And
because
that's
remind me, what did I just say about Arizona v. United States 2012 SCOTUS ruling?
You said that it was about the federal government deciding who's in charge of federal or illegal immigration in the United States or the federal
It's
government.
not about deciding who's in charge. It was the fact that it has always been who's in charge.
I
So
know,
what,
but
what
they were
else did I
confirming
say?
that with.
I was very clear. Like, there was more. I said more than that.
Well, that's the main thing that I got out of it.
That's the main thing that you got out of it. So you weren't listening?
I was, yeah, but I kind of had another question in the back of my mind that I wanted to ask you that's been more important, but more direct to this
Gotcha.
conversation.
So I'll remind you what Arizona v. United States did in 2012 when the Supreme Court ruled on it and they put out their brief. It stated that states and their police force cannot ask somebody to prove their documentation or legal status within the United States because that is solely the responsibility of the federal government. Do you see how you left out a very important thing?
Well, that's very much related to what I said before, but can I get on with my more pressing question that's directly involved in the original reason why you're getting people to call?
Oh, people know what my reason is to get people to call? Okay, what's that?
Well, it's just a topic. It's a topic that you talk about a lot. So I just had a question for a productive dialogue.
Oh, what is the topic that I talk about a lot? Oh, thank you for being a
So,
fan, by the way.
what?
Thank you for
Me?
being a fan. If you know that
Oh.
this is a topic that I talk about a lot, I'm going to say thank you for being a fan.
Well, I even though we may disagree, I agree. I very much appreciate that you want to open up the dialogue. I do find that admirable. But anyways, the question is, are you familiar with what tax incidence is?
Tax incidents?
Yes.
I'm not sure you're saying that right. Are you saying incident?
Yes, I am. That's what I just said.
Okay. So incident, right?
Yes.
Cool. Sorry. It sounded like you could have been saying incidents or anything other than that. What's that? Go ahead.
Well, I will just say it's a little moderately concerning you're not familiar with that because it's a basic, like, first semester economics principle, but it has to do with where the tax burden falls on different individuals. And also what it says is if you put a tax on the consumer, the tax will be shared between the consumer and the producer. And if you put it on the producer, it also will be shared between both parties. Does that make sense? So what I'm getting at here is when you say that an import tax only affects the consumers of the product,
I don't say that.
That's heavily against a basic principle of economics. It's actually shared. Any tax is shared between both producer and the consumer.
So let's try running down this, okay? Because I never make that claim. I say it's only shared by the consumer. I never make that claim. So this is interesting. Okay, so let's try this. When I ask somebody, right, that when the United States government has a 15% tariff on a country like Spain, right? And we are importing a product from Spain. And I then thank you, Wicket, for gifting a membership. And then I ask the person, when we're importing a good from Spain, who is paying that 15% tariff to the United States government? What is the answer that I'm looking for?
The correct answer is both Spain and the consumers are paying.
The correct answer is the American importer. Do you see how I don't even say the consumer? I find it very interesting that somebody seems to watch me and they've admitted that like tariffs is a topic that I do talk a lot about. And yeah, I played into you bringing up tax incidents. And it's just the way that you said it. And I think it was just that I had my volume down low for a moment for no good reason. Is I was playing along to see where you were going from, because I just knew when you said that you didn't even listen or understand what my point of contention is when it comes to tariffs, and the way that Donald Trump says that it's the foreign government that pays the tariffs to the United States government. The only claim that I ever make is that it is the American importer, whether that is a consumer or whether that is a business, right? And then I bring it in to say that it is up to the business whether or not they pass it on to the consumer, right? And
Well,
then
would
when
you
you're
not?
talking
Are you
about
not
tax
going to
incidents,
admit
you're
at
leaving
all?
out the primary point, is that tax incidents is clearly about the party that is legally responsible for paying that tax to the American government, right? And then that's the point where I'm bringing up, and I'm literally talking about tax incidents when I clearly say that it is the American importer that directly pays the cost of that percentage of a tariff to the United States government. So it sounds like when you were trying to like pass a little side insight salt onto me with saying like this is clearly just like macroeconomics 101, you didn't hear that part yourself, because that's the part that I'm talking about. The person that is legally responsible to pay that 15% tariff that we have on other countries is the American importer, whether that is a company or an individual that is purchasing an item because Donald Trump did away with the de minimis rule, which exempted any import value under $800 from being charged a tariff. So
And
thank you
again,
for proving
tax
that
incidents,
you don't know what you're
tax
talking about, but you
incidents.
attempted to know what
Oh
you were
my
talking
God.
about and tried to say that you know more than me with the way that you were talking about it, while ignoring what I actually say.
Well, I
Fantastic.
just had
Thank
one
you.
quick question. Can I get in one question?
No.
Do you at least acknowledge
Did
that
I not just say
some
no?
that I said that some portion is paid by the foreign government? Would you acknowledge that some,
By your own
to a
argument, the
degree,
tax incidents, right? Again, the only person that is legally required to pay that 15% tariff
and
to
what
the
tax incident
American
says,
government is the American importer, which is the only claim that I ever make.
and what tax incident says is it doesn't matter if you put it on the consumer, who is the one that's obligated to pay it, or the producer, who's the one that's obligated to pay it. Either way, they both are going to share that tax. Do you
No,
acknowledge that?
no, not always. Because it's up to the exporter whether
That's
or
what
not
tax incident says,
Are you
actually.
familiar with the Tax Foundation?
I'm sure that you'll enlighten me, but that's
No,
not what
I mean, this is
basic
a simple,
economics
like,
says.
are you familiar with the Tax Foundation?
That's my way of saying no.
Oh, okay, fantastic. So the Tax Foundation, which is a right-leaning organization, actually agrees with me here that it's only sometimes and in very rare circumstances that the exporter would take on the burden of some of the import costs or the tariff costs by reducing their price to the importer to try to lessen the burden of the import cost on the American importer. Like, it's not them paying them to take their
That you kind
products.
of have to because of the invisible hand.
They're
People
not
won't buy it if they
required.
don't lower it at all. They're not
They're not
required, but the
required.
invisible hand,
The
the
invisible
invisible hand will make it
hands.
to where you can't. It will make it to where you can't buy. You won't be able to sell as many if you
You
don't lower the price at least a little bit, and there's a tax on top of that.
No, there's
In
no
order to
proof of
meet a
that.
new equilibrium price that's worth it, you kind of have to lower the price a little bit.
No, there's no requirement for them to lower the price, considering, like, let's see. What is China doing right now in response to all of Donald Trump's
I'm not
tariffs?
saying
Is
that
he
they're forced to,
lowering
but
the
I'm saying the
prices?
invisible hand will move them towards
Are
doing that.
Chinese exporters lowering the prices to keep American importers purchasing from them? He did.
I don't know, but
Oh, well, that's fine. I'm gonna help you out. They're not. What China and their businesses are actually doing is they're looking at other markets. So, for example, they've struck new deals with Australia, right? So like all of the beef that we used to actually export to China's now purchasing and trading beef with Australia instead of us. Okay. They're actually reaching a trade agreement with South Korea and Japan, and all three of these countries have a history of not getting along well with each other. And they had put off actually cementing a trade deal for the last 15 years because everybody was doing so well with the American economy that they didn't need each other. But now they're actually coming together and they've cemented a trade deal between those three countries because of Donald Trump and the trade war that he started with the entirety of the rest of the world. And then if we look at soybeans, right? Do you know how much of our soybean exports China used to purchase? Do you happen to know?
No, I'm not sure. I don't know specific numbers or specific goods like
60%.
that.
China is 60% of our soybean exports. They're
Okay, then
not buying
I have
from
a
us
follow-up
anymore.
question. I have a follow-up question then. So how do you expect that American consumers are going to be feeling this?
Oh, because do you know who Procter and Gamble is?
Yes, I believe so. Are you talking about the? No, I might not. I think I do, but I'm not sure.
Okay. Procter and Gamble is the people that make Tide.
Okay.
Cool. So they announced that they're doing layoffs, or sorry, not layoffs, that they're increasing the cost of goods to the consumer. They're passing on the cost of the tariff to the United States consumer. They've announced
All
that.
right.
Other companies have
So
also announced that they are now passing along the cost of goods to the cost of the tariffs to the consumers, right? And
all
then
right.
what
So
we see a
how do you
long-term effect of this
measure?
of other companies doing mass layoffs because they're no longer able, like for the companies that want to not pass along the cost, they don't want to pass along the cost. So instead of doing that, they're just laying people off from their companies, which is why we saw a loss of 12,000 jobs in the manufacturing industry just in the month of August.
Okay, so how do you measure the price of goods over time? Like what's the statistic that's given for that?
Oh,
Or
the
no, sorry, the price.
CPI?
There's that one, yeah, and then there's also
That would be the
inflation rate.
primary
Both.
one.
Yeah, well, CPI. Okay, then I'll go with CPI.
Mm-hmm. And where is
So
CPI at now?
I'm not quite sure. It's
You're not
definitely the
quite sure?
inflation rate's definitely under control, but they
The
both are
inflation
used for
rate is
that.
definitely under control. Is that why it went up by 0.2%?
It's far lower, like not even relatively close to the previous administration shortly after he took
Oh,
office.
that's not true. We were at 2.5% inflation August of last year, and now we're at 2.9% inflation August of this year. So no,
Why are we
year
talking
over
about August
year,
of last year?
because you compare it month by month, sir. That's how you measure inflation and how well the inflation is going, and if it's up or if it's down. You measure it year
I
over
just talked
year.
about no.
You
That's not what
measure it
I was.
year over year. So when we look at it compared to 2024, when the inflation rate was at 2.5% in August of 2024, and then we're at a 2.9% inflation rate for August of 2025, according to the most recent Bureau of Labor Statistics data released on September 8th, that's what we look at. It's literally compared
Well, what
year
I was
over
referring
year.
to was what I
Are
was
you
referring
sure
to
you
was
took an
looking at.
economics class? Because if you did, you should have already known that it's a year over year measurement in
Yeah, and what I was
comparison.
talking about was I was wanting to judge August of 2021, the same amount of time after the previous administration was in office, versus
Oh,
August of
see, I
2025.
love it how everybody always wants to go back to like 2021 and when the middle
Well,
of
yeah, because Biden was
C19.
one
No,
of the most
because there's
unpopular
actually something
presidents in
really
history.
important that people forget here. See, I don't blame Donald Trump for what occurred during C19 when we lost 15 million jobs because I acknowledge that that was from an international global pandemic. So unless you
Well,
can
that sets
point
you
me,
apart from actually a very significant amount of people on MSNBC. But
unless you can point me to a very specific policy that Joe Biden enacted in 2021 that adversely affected inflation on the global scale, We don't hold C19 inflation against Donald Trump, similarly enough that I don't hold the extremely high unemployment rate under Donald Trump against him. So we don't hold inflation, C19 inflation, against Joe Biden unless you can point me in the direction and give me a very specific piece of legislation that was signed in 2021 that adversely affected the inflation rate for our country, and then how it affected the entire world, because this wasn't a uniquely United States thing.
Right, but there were some decisions actually, and I will say that
Tell
does
me.
set you apart. That does set you apart from many MSNBC hosts who have directly implied that Trump caused all of the 15 million job layoffs.
I'm waiting
even
for
though
that
you just
piece of
acknowledged it was
legislation.
COVID, but
Come on.
what?
I'm waiting for that piece of legislation. What did he sign
Okay,
in
well, first of all,
2021, in August of 2021, that adversely affected the United States economy and the United States inflation?
okay, so there are quite a few things. Number one is trying to delay getting everyone back to work and then spending even
That
more
wasn't a piece of
fiscal
legislation.
stimulus.
Give me a piece of legislation.
Of course, I'm saying policy, but you don't want to acknowledge that one. You don't
That wasn't a
acknowledge that.
policy. That was up to the states. The states are the ones that decided who went back to work and who didn't. So I'm waiting for the
Well,
piece of
he
legislation.
did impose federal stay-home orders and federal
Yeah,
mandates
and
and stuff like that.
and guess what? Who does an executive order mandate? Who does an
It's a law
executive
for the
order
country.
like actually have authority over?
It's a law for the country.
Who
So I thought
does the
entire country.
executive order have authority over?
I thought the entire country. It's a law for the country to follow.
Incorrect. This is, oh my gosh. No, an executive order is not a law, sir. Executive orders are not laws. Executive
I know that.
orders,
I said they're basically like laws.
they're not
for the
even
country to have to
basically like
follow.
laws. They don't affect the entire country.
Okay, then who do you think they affect?
Oh, it's not who do I think they affect. These are facts, and this is true. This is not a thought that randomly occurs in my head. This is a fact that executive orders affect the federal government, federal employees, and federal agencies. They do not affect the private market in any way, shape, or form. They cannot mandate the private market or private citizens or private companies to enact any kind of thing, because it only affects federal agencies, federal employees, and the government itself. Only the federal government. It has no say even over the state government, because executive orders are not law, and so therefore they can only affect the executive branch.
Well, it says very clearly in Article 1, Section 7 of the United States Constitution that all bills for raising revenue must originate in the House. Biden clearly didn't agree with that with his trying to cancel student loans, but that's fine.
Oh, no,
That's
I'm
fine.
sorry. Hold on. Raising revenue. I like how you said that. Raising revenue. How is canceling student loans raising revenue?
Because you have to get that money somewhere. What are you talking
You
about?
have to get that money somewhere? No, that's not raising revenue. And yeah, that was a major pivot. Does your neck hurt? Because it should. From that pivot. Because let's be clear, like, that's not raising revenue. That's not him raising revenue. And I find it interesting that anybody brings up this point, because student loans forgiveness that Joe Biden did was actually considered constitutional when he forgave it for the disabled community,
Well,
right? And then he made sure that they actually passed the public service forgiveness parts that were ignored by the previous administration's Department of Education, DeVos, right? So it's very interesting that you would bring that up, and he didn't, right? So after it was determined that the certain things that he was trying to do were in fact unconstitutional, they took it in a different direction where it was just to forgive student loans for those who are considered disabled. So those receiving Social Security disability received, because that's a federal program where somebody federally finds you disabled to the point where you need assistance from the United States government, and so that's considered permanently disabled, and that's why they were able to obtain that, and that's not raising funds to washing away a debt. That's so interesting. So yeah, he actually did it legally after he was sued by everything and it was ruled against in SCOTUS. Then he just did it that way because it's not raising money. And I am glad at least that you acknowledge that Article 1 of the United States Constitution goes over the duties of Congress. But it seems like you
Obviously, yes,
skipped over
I've had
Article
to read the
2.
entire Constitution.
And so
yes.
actually, I like this
But-
part. Hold on. Can you read Article 7 again, that part that you went over about Congress being the one to determine raising money?
So Article 1, Section 7, this is by my memory, so I might
That's
not
fine.
get the
Yeah, go
wording
ahead.
exactly right.
I don't need the exact
But
wording.
as I remember it, it says all bills for raising revenue must originate in the House.
Fantastic. So that would be exactly why Donald Trump's tariff policy is being reviewed in the United States court system. And it should actually not even, because it involves international policies. That's also why it shouldn't even be handled by SCOTUS. So thank you so much for saying and agreeing with me that Donald Trump is in fact violating Article 1 of the United States Constitution. So we should all absolutely condemn SCOTUS if they rule against him, because not only is he violating Article 1, Section 7 of the United States Constitution, he's also violating the 16th Amendment, which is giving, guess what, Congress the sole responsibility for imposing taxes on the American populace.
Well, Biden also very much violated the
But
Constitution.
Biden! Here we go again. I'm still waiting for that piece of legislation. I'm still waiting for that piece of legislation that was passed at the beginning of 2021 that negatively impacted our inflation rates and raised it by August of 2021.
I've tried explaining several
No,
things.
you
Another
haven't
one
given me a
is-
single policy. I asked you
Another
for a
one
policy.
is- oh
You
my
were
God.
still incorrect because executive orders only affect the federal government. And just so you're aware, those federal employees were still working. They were just working remotely.
Are you angry?
No, I just got closer to my microphone.
It's just this
And
whole
I even made sure to
conversation,
turn down my volume for you. This must be quite
But what I'm
embarrassing
getting
for
at, my
you.
whole conversation, I've never once raised my voice. but
And neither
you're
have
doing it
I. I've
pretty
just
much the
gotten
whole time and
closer to
never
my
letting me speak.
microphone.
Okay, well, if you're the one to let me speak and not scream.
I'm
then,
still waiting for the
I will say-
policy.
I was just about to say it, but okay. I'll try this again. Another one that I think
It's not
is
another one. You didn't even
several-
provide one.
Okay, see, are you mad? Is there something that's irritating you right now?
No. I'm just
again,
telling you, you haven't
What's-
even
what's the
provided
point
me
in being
one.
condescending, and when I'm trying to
Do you want me to
give
be
information, what's the
condescending?
point in
Because I can
interrupting me and
actually
being
be condescending.
Oh, you kind of already are, so I don't know.
I'm not.
I don't know if it's going to be that much more difficult because you already are. But anyways,
Okay, so what's the policy?
next. There we go. Okay, better. I will say another one is blocking several proposals to get oil domestically in the United States and therefore relying on other foreign adversaries such as
Okay,
Iran
and what's
for
the name
oil.
of that? What's the name of that policy?
I don't know if I know the name of the policy, but that's something we all know he did. He relied on foreign adversaries such as Iran and Venezuela for oil throughout his entire presidency.
Interesting. So let's see. Did Joe Biden rely on foreign adversaries for oil? Oh, interesting. It's actually quite mixed on that one. So it's that, yes, we relied on them, and then also we took steps to reduce its overall dependence on fossil fuels, which is why we see, according to the EIA.gov, in 2023 and 2024, the United States government was considered the most energy independent that it has ever been throughout history. And not only that, in 2024, we were also considered the #1 producer of oil in the entire world.
Then why
So can
did
you point
he?
to me the
So
direct policy name or the executive
well,
order number that you're
you have to
claiming?
remember that we're the biggest GDP in any. So of course we're going to have a good amount of oil export, no matter who the president is. But he did specifically block several proposals to drill for oil in the United States, such as the
Which
Willow Project in
proposal?
Alaska and several others.
Which proposal? How did he block a proposal? I'm sorry. Can you point me which bills passed the House and the Senate and then were vetoed by the President of the United States under under Joe Biden's administration? Because that would be what he would be blocking a proposal, is him vetoing a bill. So actually, let me go ahead and search that.
For you to,
Did Joe Biden veto any legislation? Cool. He did. He vetoed 13. Let me read what they are. Judges Act, which had nothing to do with oil. Let's see. Providing for congressional disapproval under Chapter 8 of Title 5, United States Code of the rules submitted by the Securities and Exchange Commission relating to staff accounting. So that's about staff accounting. Determining joint employer status. That's about employer status. Waiver of buying America requirements for electric vehicle chargers, has nothing to do with oil. Small business lending doesn't have anything to do with oil. Endangered and threatened wildlife and plants, nothing to do with oil. And again, another endangered wildlife and plants, nothing to do with oil. Control of air pollution from new motor vehicles, nothing to do with oil. And these are 2023. There was actually nothing in 2021. So I guess your point is moot here. It didn't actually exist. Prudence and loyalty in selecting plan investments and exercising shareholder rights. Revised definitions of waters of the United States. Procedures covering suspension of liquidation duties and estimated duties in accord with Presidential Proclamation 10414. Yeah, I don't see anything about oil that he blocks. So can you help me out? How did he do away with all of these proposed legislation if it wasn't vetoed? How can I find proof of that?
well, it's something you easily could have looked up directly.
I mean, I did, and nothing came up, which is why I said, okay, let's look up vetoes, because that's actually the only way to get away with proposed legislations or do away with it is through a veto measurement, because legislation is passed by Congress.
Well, again, I just found an article on PBS that talks about how Biden canceled.
What's the title?
Oil.
Oh, let me guess.
Title.
And about Keystone XL, right?
I haven't read this whole thing yet, but that's
Wait,
not
what's the
popping
date
up
of
yet,
it?
But that's another
What's the
concern
date
that
of
I
it?
have. The date somewhere in 2023 is what I believe that I read. Yes, 2023, September 7th.
Ah, yes. Oh yeah, the oil permits that no one was actually using. Yeah. See, everybody talks about drilling in Alaska, but nobody actually does it.
I'm sure.
Yeah,
No
don't.
one does it. No one wants to drill for oil in the United States.
No, specifically in Alaska, because it's Alaska.
Well, again, Keystone XL was another concern, but yeah, Biden just didn't really want there to be that much drilling in the United States.
Oh yeah. So
reason,
can you tell me what the Supreme Court of the United States of America ruled on when it came to the Keystone XL pipeline? And can you also tell me at what percentage it was completed by the time that it made it all the way up to the Supreme Court of the United States of America?
Again, you're asking exact complete percentages, so I don't think
I mean, I
anyone knows
remember
how
this
much.
without looking, so.
Well, yeah, because this is, again, your job.
No, it's
even
not
though
my
you didn't
job.
know what tax incident was.
No, I just happen to have
Even
a
though
really
you-
good memory.
Even though you didn't know what tax incidents was. But
No,
yeah,
I
this is
did,
kind of-
because I even proved you wrong, and I proved my point in showing that that's the point that I
Well,
was making the whole
clear-
time.
not
You put
really,
words in my
but-
mouth that I've literally have never said. And even though you've been
You do kind
watching
of
me,
put
you've
words in other
admitted that
people's
you've
mouths.
been watching me for a while, right? Yeah, and like
I wouldn't say a
let's be
while, but
very
just
well. You
again,
did. You said it enough to know that that was like my main topic that I bring up, and I make sure to give a variety every show. So yeah, that means you've been watching me for a while. So thank you again for
again,
being
not a
such a
while. I
fan.
wouldn't say a while,
Okay,
but
you've been watching me for at least a week. Thank you for being a fan because again, I make sure to bring up different lies that Donald Trump has told because there's so many. It gives me a plethora to choose from. So
and
let's
there's a
go through
plethora
this
to choose
again.
from
So
Harris.
when it
He's
comes to Donald Trump, well, sorry, when it comes to the Keystone XL, when it made its way to the Maryland Supreme Court, it was only 8%. 8% complete. And so, what the Maryland Supreme Court said is that it was going through native land and therefore it could not be done. And so when it made its way all the way up to the Supreme Court of the United States, what the Supreme Court decided is that we're going to uphold what the lower court already decided and they have the final say. I'm obviously bringing this down really like simple terms, mostly because I don't remember the exact legalese words that they use. So I'm bringing this down to simple terms for everyone, including myself, is basically the Supreme Court said, yep, you guys did it right. We're going to uphold your decision. So when when Joe Biden came into, like, after that ruling was made and he came into office, because that Supreme Court decision was actually during Trump's administration, what Joe Biden did was just cancel the permits that were already useless and could not be used. So, and I just want to be very clear, guys. The Keystone XL pipeline, what it was to get Canadian oil all the way from Canada into the Gulf of Mexico so they could export their oil to other countries. The oil wasn't coming to the United States of America. The oil was being exported to other countries so that Canada could open up their market to more countries and sell more. They wanted the profit for themselves. It wasn't going to benefit the United States of America. It was literally to benefit
well,
Canada. It was a Canadian pipeline. It's
I
cool,
find it
man. I've been
amazing that
talking to
you're
you for 36 minutes and you're boring. Thank you. Let me get this really quickly. I have a bunch to catch up on here from that conversation. Thank you, Fruit, for the 5 saying keep doing what you're doing. I appreciate that. Thank you, Trelly, for the $9.99. Thank you for what you do in educating these maggots. I try. I do try. Thank you, Princess, for the $1. I appreciate that. And again, thank you, Wicket, for sending out a membership over there. And let's see. And thank you, Savage. I look forward to seeing you pop up in my feed. That's what I'm here for. Thank you for the 2. Let's see. Thank you, Successful, for the 5. Tariffs are never charged to exporter. The importer has to pay duties to bring the goods into the commerce of the United States. Failure on tariffs. Correct. Thank you, Flying Birds. I believe I have a couple for you. Tariffs are paid by the company that purchases the imported good. If anyone thinks that those companies are protecting their profit margins by raising prices for the consumer to compensate or overinflate, are delusional. Part 2. I want to add that the consumer ultimately pays the price on imported goods due to corporate greed. The country the tariff is put on is only affected by less sales, but the consumer still ultimately pays the price. Correct. You left no crumbs, and I believe you misheard me. I'm going to get back to this other one in a moment. But what I actually said is no one wants to drill more in Alaska, right? I didn't say that there was absolutely no drilling. I think I said that at first, and then I corrected myself in the immediate next sentence, and I was saying, like, they don't want new drilling in Alaska. Like, literally, though. The people that the permits were issued to, it had already pulled back and already had delayed even starting new drilling in Alaska during that time. And because they had delayed it and had made no efforts to continue or start new drilling, that's exactly why he pulled the permits. And I also corrected myself immediately, Pickle. I'm so glad you were listening. And that wasn't towards you, Flying. But yes. How does the big beautiful bill reduce debt? It reduces debt by cutting funding from programs. From the programs that are already in there. There's no other way that they're reducing debt. All right. No problem, flying. And that's why I said, like, I admit that I said that at first, and then I immediately corrected myself because I knew what I said was incorrect. It's that they weren't using the permits. Let's see if we can get a couple more callers in. I don't know if we will. Thank you for calling the MAGA support hotline. Are you there?
Yes, hello.
Awesome. How old are you?
Sorry, what was that you cut out?
How old are you?
Is that relevant to this?
It is.
How come?
Because of terms of service for TikTok. So let's try this again. How old are you?
Okay, I get it. Yeah, I'm 18.
Yeah, and I also don't talk to 18-year-olds yet. Thanks. Thank you for calling the MAGA support hotline. Are you there?
Yes, hello, hello. Can you hear me?
I can. How old are you?
23.
Okay. And are you still supporting Donald Trump?
Well, this is kind of interesting that I accidentally came across of your live, and it was pretty entertaining. And I do support Donald Trump, right? Yet, what is interesting is that the last two, and I'm sorry for my English is not the best. I'm an immigrant. The last two people who were on here gave me a perspective on how and why I'm saying this, because you have like 1,000 people watching or whatever, right? Or more. It's interesting that I've never expected people that, let's say, on my end, to act this way. Very, very smart and polite at first, but when they don't have any knowledge, they don't know that they don't have any knowledge, they start to get heated, and you could hear them insulting you right away. And the first guy that I heard was like with the child laughing like an anime character. The second one started also insulting you and etc. And what I realized is that I myself have no arguments, that I don't know exactly why I support Donald Trump or why I did. And now that I got the docs and everything, I could, vote and everything. But now that I'm thinking is that just because some values that Trump does have with me, like aligning, doesn't mean that I actually know what he's doing in the office. And listening to the people who were on your podcast, I clearly realized that they don't know either, nor do I. And I started questioning how many more people are there that have no idea. And this is quite insane. So don't know what to say. I just wanted to say simple thank you, right? Because this was a very shocking experience, because I thought, oh, I myself will call, I myself will say a few smart things, but then hearing how the people on my end, my political party, just simply insult you for nothing, and you seem very, very educated on those topics, and the two previous gentlemen just seem to be lost in vocabulary, constantly nonstop interrupting, insulting, and then making fun of you. This is quite eye-opening experience, I would say. So I might reconsider a lot of the things. Maybe I do believe what I do believe in, but Donald Trump may not be an option.
All right. Well, I mean, I appreciate that, and see, guys, this when I'm having these conversations, it's not to change the mind of the person that I'm talking to, because the majority of them are already going to be set in their ways. And that's totally fine. My goal is for those that are listening to
Hmm.
see what's happening and then kind of come to an understanding such that you did as yourself.
Yeah, because I myself, me being immigrant, I do not agree with good amount of majority of political beliefs of Democrats. Let's say their policies on a lot of not policies, right? Their traditional way of thinking of the I don't know if I can voice it in your live or not. The transgenderism and all of this kind of stuff, right? More traditional, as you could hear by my accent, Slavic ways. But then I realized that you're not saying Democrats are good. You just I read the title and I said it, and it said, well, Donald Trump is a liar. And I started thinking to myself, well, I know, me being Slavic, that he said he will end up a war between Russia and Ukraine in 3 days. Then he said, or something in a few days, right? Then he said that he will end it in more than a week. Then he said, I'm giving them like 60 days. And now that I'm thinking to myself is that what kind of power does he have over Russia if he can't stop it? Because before I used to hear a lot of MAGA people scream, oh, if Trump was in the office, the war wouldn't start. The war wouldn't start. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
but why doesn't Putin respect Trump enough to stop it? They've met like 2 or 3 times already, and the end is nowhere to be found. And me hearing the news outlets on both ends, and it's like, I don't know. I understand that this is supposed to be a conversation between you and me, debate, it's entertaining purposes of your
Yeah, okay.
viewers. Yes, but this is listen. I feel like I'm I'm confessing in something right now, but this is truly life changing. Wow. Yeah. So just because I call myself Christian, just because I call myself whatever, it doesn't mean that it aligns necessarily with Donald Trump. Considering now I'm considering why would I align my Christian values with Donald Trump? How many wives, how many kids, how many all of that he had,
Well,
affairs and everything.
yeah, that's true. But let me ask you a quick question, if you don't mind.
Please,
Which Slavic country are you from?
I am from Russia.
You're from Russia, and
Yes.
when it came down to the Russia-Ukraine war, and I hate even saying this, whose side were you on? But I am just curious, like, how did you want it to go?
What is interesting is that um, when the war started, of course, the Democrats were holding the power of the United States, and the Democrats, as far as I understand, right, they hold majority of the news outlets and all of it, right? Basically, whatever they say is going to be all over the internet, CNN, popular vote, all of this good stuff. So when I heard how they are pushing for Ukraine, it's clearly wrong. As a Slavic person, everybody knows that out of all countries, the Ukraine is the most corrupt one, and the war was inevitable. And choosing a side, I have not chose a side as most of my peers. Right, deaths are wrong. People are dying. Children are dying on both ends, actually. Right, not only poor Ukrainian people who haven't done anything, but they're receiving the bombs on their end, but same thing with those Russian people, right? I understand nobody pushes them to get the rifle and push forward and everything, but nobody's holy. You're asking me what kind of side I pick. I picked a side of reason, saying that Putin had his own reasoning. Because if you will, I don't know, but you seem like very heavy on the American politics side of things. But I don't know, and I don't want to educate you or sound like I educate you on anything. Um, like Putin many times since he became a president in the late 90s, tried to become friends with United States many times, and he was pushed back also many times and lied to, and the stuff with NATO, they're like, don't come close to our borders, aka
You're
stop accepting
awesome.
these countries between us, so you do not move your army arsenal, and otherwise there will be consequences. And I remember year prior the war started, I was watching the news like in Russian, and it was in January, before like a year before the war started. Putin was saying that there is a red lining. If you cross it, there will be consequences. And I was talking to my
Mm.
friends saying, "Oh, what kind of consequences can there be?" So Putin does his own thing, protects his own ways. Ukraine is hiding behind the West. That's 100%. In the beginning, it was like, oh my, what is happening, poor people. And now you don't understand and it's actual and it's factual that even the soldiers have to gather the money to, equip themselves in Ukraine, because the government is so super corrupted and they're just stealing the money. So who is
Well,
in the right?
they're
Well,
not. So we have there's actually an oversight committee that looks at where the money is going from the United States and from the EU, from NATO and from non-NATO allies. It's called the Ukrainian Oversight Committee, and they actually track exactly where the money is going. And the majority of what the United States specifically has sent has been in military armament. We haven't specifically given out a whole bunch of physical cash. We have sent them aid, which has been received by them in the form of food, right? Again,
mhm.
it's not just cash going to their bank accounts. That's not how that works. And to be clear, because there's a lot of things that you said that is quite obviously, not sorry, but it is kind of Russian propaganda. Putin didn't come into an office in the government with Russia until 2008, not in the early 90s. When the USSR broke up, it was Gorbachev who was the leader of the USSR, right? And then even then his predecessor that came in, he signed, the predecessor, whose name I can't remember right now, signed a very important agreement that was called the NATO-Russia Founding Act of 1997, where Russia explicitly agreed to NATO expansion and the acknowledgement that NATO was going to continue to expand. So 11 years later is when Putin decides that he now has a red line, the new president, ignoring treaties that were violated. Medvedev, yeah, that might have been him. No, Boris Yeltsin. That's who was president at the beginning of
Yes,
Russia as we know it now.
yes, and
But
since
that's the
91.
point, right? Is even Gorbachev, he came out in 2014 when Russia illegally annexed Crimea. Right. And he said that no, what Putin said is a lie, that there was no secret agreement between Russia and the Secretary of State under Bush, first Bush, right? That there would be no further NATO expansion eastward. The agreement was solely about the reunification of Germany, East and West Germany. That was all it was about, was the reunification of Germany. It had nothing about them not going past Germany. And again, even if it did, they signed an agreement in 1997 called the NATO-Russia Founding Act. And you can find it at the very bottom paragraph that Russia is agreeing to the fact that NATO will continue to expand. And it will all continue to expand eastward to all emerging democracies in Eastern Europe or in Europe, right? And they agreed to that in 1997. Okay. And then even when we look at what happened in 2014, right? After the Ukrainian people at the end of 2013 threw out their sympathizing presidents. Oh gosh, now I can't remember it. I actually usually remember his name. But when they threw out the Russian sympathizing president who escaped to Belarus and who now currently actively lives inside of Russia, right after he was ousted from his government. Okay. And then Putin comes in and illegally annexes Crimea. We have evidence in reports, Yanukovych, thank you guys, that the only 27% of the population of Crimea actually voted in the so-called election that was held to see who wanted to rejoin Russia, right? 27%. And at that point, they say it was over 90% voted yes, right? Out of 27%, where we have pictures of them being held at gunpoint out there. They were held at gunpoint by Russian separatists in Crimea. Crimea was already its own separate governing body, similar enough to how Greenland is with Denmark, because Crimea had its own constitution, right? Which is why the vote that was held was also unconstitutional for what they did, because that went directly against the Crimean constitution. Not only that, it went against the Ukrainian constitution, right? There is no denying that at the time that Yanukovych was in office, that absolutely Ukraine was corrupt, right? There's no denying that. There's a reason why they ousted him from the government, okay? So there was that issue. That's why he got ousted. That's why he got kicked out, okay? And then we look at the fact that his other claim, right? Putin's other claim was NATO can't come closer. Except he didn't do anything, right? Like the government didn't do anything prior to him coming into power, right? In 2008, when Latvia, Lithuania, or Estonia joined NATO, because they joined
May I
way
interrupt
earlier.
you? May I interrupt you? Sorry. I understand you have let me spoke for as long as you have, and I'm not arguing with you or anything. Just a remark of you. I twice mentioned that Putin came to power in 2008, and he was in power in 2001 already. So if you can Google, you probably Google stuff in front of you whenever you have conversations. So it's 2001. Just as a remark, not because you said something wrong or anything, for your knowledge. 2010 or 11 was Dmitry Medvedev is the second one, which didn't do well, and they just switched in 2013 or something like that.
Okay. Yeah, it's because of the limit of 2 consecutive terms. Medvedev was the president in between then. My bad.
Yep.
I will accept the correction.
Yeah.
But even then, that actually further
Just a
cements
correction.
my
Yeah,
point.
I'm
right?
not saying you're wrong or anything. Just
No,
for
you're
your
good.
knowledge that he's been there for 25 years plus now, official dictator. Not official, but
Yeah, no,
you know.
that actually further cements my point. So the 3 Baltic countries that joined NATO actually joined while Putin was president, right? So Latvia, Lithuania, Estonia, they all joined while Putin was acting president in 2004. So why didn't he attack them if there was this really big red line about NATO being on his border? He didn't. He used it as an excuse in 2014 to illegally annex part of it. And then he also used it as an excuse to join back the separatists in the Donbass region, specifically Donetsk and Luhansk. And I know I always mess up that second one, but Donetsk. And then the other one, I always mess it up, and I acknowledge that. He backed those separatists between 2014 and 2022, and that's when we actually saw an increase of the number of bombs that were dropped in the Donbass region actually performed by those separatists that were backed by Russia. Right? And then not only that, Russia changed their constitution to absorb parts of Ukraine, ignoring internationally recognized borders prior to them even invading in 2022. Like they ignored everything. They used it as an excuse. And then even if this was really this big red line, right? And Putin was still president in 2008 before Medvedev took over in 2009 to just break up his presidency. When Ukraine applied to join NATO in 2008, instead of Russia attacking Ukraine then, they invaded and tried to go into Georgia for their 8-day war.
Because one of the regions wanted to separate, go to Georgia. They didn't allow it, and Georgia started war. But that's a separate thing. And
It's just a point that this red line is a mythical. It's a lie that he's portrayed, and he's never lived up to until 2022, which, mind you, Ukraine didn't apply to join NATO in 2014 at all. They didn't apply to join NATO until September of 2022. That was their second application into NATO, and that was after Russia had committed their full-on invasion February 22nd, 2022.
24th, something like that. Yeah.
Yeah.
So may I act a bit as a interviewer, if you will allow me to, take up more of your time? Do you have like a political background, or you have studies in terms of college, like political science or something of that nature?
No, my degree's not in political, like, anything, like, I don't have a degree in political science, actually,
Mm-hmm.
my majors are in business and accounting.
And a second question, which would be pretty interesting and I would assume entertaining to your viewers also. Um, if you are given arguments, right, because you have some sort of responsibility because like 1,000 people watching you, if you have like proof, like a proof, let's say, like an actual proof, right, where your views, let's say, fell under certain propaganda, right? Just as you mentioned to me, if you have like a solid proof in front of you, are you the person who easily will say that, oh, I'm actually for the facts rather than being in a certain way, right? I want to be like right, right. Are you like easily accepting it? What would you say about yourself?
Yeah, so, I mean, I will research things further, but, I mean, as far as, like, Russia, Ukraine, it's something that I've heavily watched since it first started in 2014 and then really dug in
Yeah,
further in
yeah.
2022.
I'm not leading
It's just
door
something I
towards
was
that
interested in.
direction. Yes, I'm not leaning towards that direction of you might not know everything because it's on the other side of the
Oh,
world.
I mean, I
I'm
definitely
not
don't
like,
know everything.
yeah, yeah, I'm not passive aggressive
No, you're good.
Republican, yes, who with polite mask tries to say nasty stuff to you, and that was disgusting, honestly, to listen to the
Yeah.
gentlemen, especially for them portraying themselves as good people. If you're good overall and everywhere. You're not picking and choosing your dog or neighbors or whatnot, right? Serving the community, as one of them said. It's like, why are you so mean on to the person on the internet? That was very, very not cool to hear. And it's like, because I, on my side of things, right, I will say that watching stuff like Ben Shapiro, and of course you could understand, right, by my views, watching all these guys and seeing how they debate with certain insanity and feelings, rather, right? And I heard the same thing on your end. I don't know whether you call yourself a Democrat or a Green Party or I don't know, no idea, right? I don't watch you ever. This is the first encounter. But this is very interesting to see the same thing, how people who probably lean towards the right, more, Christian values and everything, act this way. And it just opened my eyes in terms of what else don't I see, how they act towards, more left leaning people ideologies, because such behavior is just a simple turn off rather than warm and welcoming. And that's insane. And I would assume you encounter that a lot, right? On the podcast.
Sometimes, yeah.
Hmm. Interesting. Well, I will say like two things. Returning to the topic of why you do this, Donald Trump, I will do more research, and if I'll be lazy to do so, as majority of the people, I, would probably be responsible and not vote because I have no idea. I haven't watched anything of that nature. I heard like Democrats accusing him of dropping bombs and deporting immigrants, while I heard that Obama deported way more illegal immigrants
Mm-hmm.
and dropped way more bombs. That's what I heard from like the social, right?
Nope. As far as drone strikes, Donald Trump dropped more. See, but and then that was in his first term. And when we look at he dropped more in 4 years than Obama did in 8. And then we actually look at the drone strikes and you take those into consideration. Donald Trump actually had the rule changed, where drone strikes were no longer after drone strikes occurred.
Mm-hmm.
They were no longer tallying up civilian deaths like they did under Obama, which is why we never heard about civilian deaths at the hand of drone strikes.
Mm-hmm. Well, it's very interesting, and I would say eye-opening in terms of being responsible, no matter what side you're on, to be responsible with the world and actually look into the actual, actions of what the person is doing, because I may call myself right-leaning and Christian and all that, and in the meanwhile support somebody who I have done zero research on, because he's been there already for 4 years now. It's a second term. Haven't done anything of that, and to go and vote and to say that I'm somehow right, it's very, very unusual feeling, I would say, that I'm experiencing right now. All thanks to the live that you have at the moment that you're hosting. Yes.
Gets through to people, guys. It really does. It's always, even if it's not, even if it's just one person out of the 40,000 people that come in, I'm good with that.
Mm-hmm. Well, yeah. Don't wanna hold the spot for any longer, because I would assume you don't have any questions to me, or I don't really have any more questions to you, and there's probably way more hateful people in a line right now waiting to say bad things, so I wouldn't want to make them wait too long to get a hold of you.
Yeah, no
Sounds
problem.
horrible, actually. Yeah. So thank you so much for, being understanding, not insulting or anything of that nature, despite, assumingly us being on other ends of beliefs, right? In general, I would assume. So thank you so much for I would assume it's, well, over 20 minutes, 25 minutes by now of your time. And the audience, thank you. You haven't been nasty, actually. I've been reading the comments. Pretty legit. I would say decent, right? Nobody is good. So thank you, and wish you all the best, and to your audience too. Think and listen to the Democrats too, right? I used to call myself a Republican 10 minutes ago, no, 27 minutes ago. Same thing with Democrats. Look into the actions of politicians, and if none of them are good, then okay, last question. Should we choose the lesser of the two evils, or we should not choose at all?
I would compare policy side by side, and if we're referring to the last election, that's what I did, and I saw that Donald Trump had 16 pages of policy, which really was only 12 pages of actual policy. That was just a bunch of words and bullet points. Whereas compared to that, Kamala Harris had 11 pages of once as 11 bullet points, but then also had an 82 page of comprehensive economic legislation policies. And that's what I voted for, was 82 pages of economic policies.
And Donald Trump had
12 pages of wants and dreams, talking about getting rid of the woke left-wing Democrats out of our military armed forces. He didn't have economic policies.
So instead of actual factual and doing all that, he swings politically with feelings of the people who disagree with the left.
Yep.
Look at what they're doing, etc., instead of actual factual printed PDFs and everything. Well, good to know. So to just compare, you're offering, instead of not voting at all, you're offering side by side to choose between less of two evils.
I'll just compare the policies. Yeah, that's what I would say.
Good advice, absolutely. Well, once again, thank you for answering all the questions. You sound like an interviewer. Wish you all the best, and have a great, evening, morning, where you are. But wish you all the best. Thank you so much.
Thank you. No problem, man.
Bye.
I just want to remind everybody that Donald Trump gave away his hand today when he said, "I'm very disappointed in Putin. He should have had this war finished in 1 week. I told Putin I'm very disappointed in him. He should have finished it in 1 week." We know who Donald Trump was rooting for. I don't know. We might get one more caller. I know the Tube of Yube is down in views because of that conversation drag on, and unfortunately people do like back and forth conversations. No, I make him sound like he's like a Southern trucker. It doesn't work that way. Yes, I've heard Louis Armstrong today, and I still haven't looked up what he actually sounds like. My bad. Thank you for calling the MAGA support hotline. Are you there?
Nigger.
What What do you get by saying that? I don't lose my account, so. Thank you for calling the MAGA support hotline. Are you there?
I am.
Awesome. How old are you?
I am 500 years old.
Okay. Oh, also, did you guys hear him rant for like 30 minutes about paper? Did you guys hear that? Let me pull this up. I did actually listen to his speech. I assaulted my ears with that. Sorry guys, if you're wearing headphones, take them out. Ah! One more time. One more time. You're weird! Thank you for calling the MAGA support hotline. Are you there? Hello?
Hi.
Hi.
Thanks for taking my call.
You're welcome. How old are you?
I am 42.
Uh-huh. And are you still supporting Donald Trump?
Oh, no. No. I have never
No.
been a supporter of Donald Trump.
What year were you
I feel
born?
like he's a big... What's that?
What year were you born?
I was born in 1983.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. What year were you born? I guess.
I mean, I didn't say my age. I was just making sure.
I understand. Okay, I'm sorry. I thought you were just making conversation. I just wanted to call and say that you are a man.
I am. I think the state that I live in would be surprised to hear that. Sorry, Wicket, for scaring your cat. Listen, if people are going to troll me, I'm going to troll them back. So. I mean, at least he had his age right. Oh, I was pulling up the, I forgot, I was pulling up the transcript. Hold on. I wanted to get a few of these out here. Hold on. My bad. All right. I want to, thank you. Warning, guys. I hope you seek help, okay? Bye! Thank you for calling the MAGA support hotline. Are you there?
I am, actually.
Awesome. How old are you?
I am 41. How old are you?
In my early 30s. Are you still supporting Donald Trump?
Well, that's an interesting question. I'm not 100% sure. I would say I'm 100% in support of Donald Trump, but I do think that you are misrepresenting a lot of facts tonight.
Okay, well, let's start this because I know it's hard for people to realize this, but this is actually my show. So we're going to go ahead and run through a couple of questions with you, okay?
No, it's fine. It is your show. It's your show. We can handle. I can handle your question. Okay.
Oh, okay, yeah. So can you tell me 3 lies that Donald Trump has told since he was inaugurated into office?
Okay, well, very simple, easy ones was that he was going to end the war in Gaza, he was going to end the war in Ukraine, and for a third one, probably something to do with RFK. I think RFK is probably a little bit of a retard, but...
And you can't say that word. Okay, so Donald Trump went on a very brief rant today about paper, okay? So, yeah, guys, friendly reminder that slurs are not okay, and you should wipe that away from your memory bank. So let's try to go through here. Okay, this is literally from his transcript. Don't say slurs. Cool. It's how. Would you like to have your thing signed by an auto pen? You know, when I have a general. Don't interrupt my fun. Guess I'm turning it off. Okay. Let's try this again. It's not vernacular. Okay. It's how. Would you like to have your thing signed by an auto pen? You know, when I have a general and I have to sign for a general because we have beautiful paper, the gorgeous paper. I said, throw a little more gold on it. They deserve it. Give me, I want a paper, not the D paper. We used to sign a piece of garbage. I said, this man is going to be a general right here. I don't want to use this. I want to use the big, beautiful, firm paper. I want to use the real gold writing when you talk about the position. This is, this is real transcript from his speech without the hands, okay? His hands were on the podium the whole time, okay? This was real life, all right? All right, so let's read this again, okay? This is just on his we're actually going to back it up a minute or 4 minutes apparently, because apparently this took 4 minutes to say. This apparently took 4 minutes to say. And I'm going to, oh no, not 4 minutes, 4 seconds. Never mind. I'm not reading the time correctly. But we're going to go ahead and put the actual transcript on screen for you guys. Like, this is what I'm reading from. This, unfortunately, is real life. I'm sorry it's cut off. I don't know why it's cut off so much. It's odd. There we go. That's a little bit better. Okay. It was during Biden's 4 years, the auto pen. I call him the auto pen. It's how, would you like to have your thing signed by an auto pen? You know, when I have a general and I have to sign for a general because we have beautiful paper, the gorgeous paper. I said, throw a little more gold on it. They deserve it. Give me, I want the paper, not the D paper. We used to sign a piece of garbage. I said, this man is going to be a general right here. I don't want to use this. I want to use the big, beautiful, firm paper. I want to use the real gold writing when you talk about the position. The auto pen. Paper is gorgeous. Paper is gorgeous. Big, beautiful, firm paper. Firm paper. Last I checked, paper was flimsy. Paper is flimsy. Big, beautiful, firm paper. I want to use the real gold writing when you talk about the position. Give me, I want the paper. The paper. And they're beautiful. But how would you like to have that when some kid sitting in the back office is having it signed with an auto pen? I thought about it, and I thought about you people first, admirals, generals. I said, somebody works his whole life. He gets into maybe the academias or whatever, but however, you got there and you go through years of work, and now you become an admiral or a general or whatever. And when you do, the President of the United States signs your commission, as you know, and that commission is beautifully displayed. I signed it. Actually, I love my signature. I really do. And everyone loves my signature, but I signed it very proudly, and I always think to myself, how can you have an auto pen sign this? It's just so disrespectful to me. It's totally disrespectful. And it turned out that almost everything he did was signed by an auto pen, except for what he gave his son, Hunter, pardon. He signed that one, and that's actually the worst signature I've ever seen. That was the bad. Beautiful. Absolutely gorgeous. I know I need to make this. I was planning on making it a video or a short. I was planning on doing that already. I just hadn't done it yet. And if that wasn't enough reason for you guys to hit that follow sub button, I don't know what is. Okay? I don't know what it is. Oh gosh, hold on, there's more. The auto pen looks much better. Wait, what? But as leaders, our commitment to every patriot who put on the uniform is to ensure that American military remains the most lethal and dominant on the planet, but not merely for a few years, but for the decades and generations to come, for centuries. Okay, I'm done. Oh, is that what's happening, Birdie? That's funny. This is funny. Somebody gets upset because I uphold a moral standard of not using slurs. So thank you, Birdie, for pointing it. I've been kind of ignoring it while I was reading through this. Gets call dropped for slurs. Comes in the chat to continue dropping hateful rhetoric about women. That tracks. That's about right. Okay, really quickly, ticky-talkie. I'll be right back. Don't leave. Don't freak out. I'm muting you for a second. Over on YouTube and Twitch, we're going to go ahead and end it for the night. I'll be back on live tomorrow at 7 p.m. Eastern Time. So be sure to come back then. Be sure to turn on your notifications after you hit that sub button on YouTube, follow button on Twitch. I appreciate all of the new members today. I appreciate all of the... I appreciate the super chats. Thank you guys so much for being here. Y'all have a good rest of your night. Look out for a short in my admittedly horrible impression of Donald Trump. It is coming. It is coming out. Y'all have a